Laura, Owen and Korky Paul. Winnie adds magic. Winnie grows her own. Home sweet as a sweetie home, said Winnie, skipping up the path to her front door. She and Wilbur had been staying with her sister Wendy. It had rained all week, and Wendy had been on a gherkin and grapefruit diet. That holiday was about as much fun as an itchy armpit, said Winnie. But now the sun was shining, and they were home. What shall we eat first, and second, and third? Asked Winnie, as she turned the key in her front door, and Creek pushed it open. What shall we, oh! A waft of stale air hit them from the damp, cold house. They put down their cases. "Mro," said Wilbur. "We'll open the windows and it'll soon be as fresh as a dodo," said Winnie. Meanwhile it was warmer and nicer outside the house than in it. "Let's make a great big feast, and eat it outside while the house airs," said Winnie. Wilbur opened the fridge. It was empty except for one withered cheese worm and a very disgusting smell. S/am. Wilbur shut the door fast. Winnie opened the larder door creak, and out flew 2 bats and a beetle. The shelves and racks were bare. "Oh, polecat petticoats," said Winnie. "I forgot that we emptied everything before we went to Wendy's. We'll have to go shopping." So Winnie and Wilbur went to the shop. But the shop was shut for the holidays. "Oh, botherations," wailed Winnie. "Now what? I really fancy a picnic." Her tummy rumbled. On the walk home they passed fields of cows and corn. They saw people carrying bags of food for picnics. That gave Winnie an idea. "Get your dungarees on, Wilbur. We're going to grow our own picnic." Back in her garden, Winnie rolled up her sleeves. "We need butter and cheese." Winnie waved her wand once. Abracadabra! And instantly there was a cow. Moo! Winnie waved her wand again. Abracadabra! And there was a pair of woolly goats. Bear! "I want salad and crisps for the picnic," said Winnie. She pointed her wand and zapped. And tomato and potato and pepper and cucumber plants appeared. "And we need buns and bread, so." Winnie waved and waved her wand. Abracadabra! There was a clucking, flapping flock of chickens, and a patch of corn, and another of sugar beet. Winnie looked around at her garden farm. Ah, she breathed in the fresh country air. Then she breathed in again and spluttered because the cow and the goat and the chickens had all already done things that didn't smell lovely. "Quick, let's get harvesting, Wilbur," said Winnie. "Teal cut the corn while you milk the giddy goats, and we'll soon be baking bread and making pongy cheese for sandwiches." Winnie bent over to cut the corn. Bear! The cross goats didn't want to be milked by Wilbur. They ran and rammed into Winnie's bottom. Wee! They tossed her into the air so that she fell back down splat on a great big cow pat. As Winnie tried to get up, she fell onto the corn, squashing it flat. Peck flutter! Along ran the chickens to peck at the corn, but their flapping scared the cow, who moo-kicked over the bucket of milk and trampled the tomatoes and cucumbers. Suddenly Winnie's farm was a mess. Winnie was a mess. Wilbur was a mess too. "Botherations," said Winnie. She stripped off her muddy, stinky, squelchy clothes. Then she waved her wand, abracadabra. And instantly her clothes were washed and flapping on a washing line to dry. "That's better," she said. "Now I need a bubble scribble bath to get me clean too." Winnie's big bubbly bath made her feel much better. She went outside to fetch her dress, but a goat was eating it. The chickens were wearing her knickers and the cow was trampling on her hat. "Oh, frilly bloomers," wailed poor Winnie. "I need my clothes." And my tummy is as empty as a deflated balloon, and there's nothing to eat. It's not fair. She stamped her foot, but it stamped on an egg that a chicken had just laid cracksplat. And now I can't even eat that. Winnie closed her eyes, and for a long horrible moment, Wilbur thought that she was about to burst into tears. So Wilbur thought fast, and then he acted fast. Moving so fast that he was just a blur, clever Wilbur made everything all right. He sheared the goat's buzz, and knitted clickety-click, their wool into a hairy scary brown onesie for Winnie to wear. He even decorated it with feathers from the chickens. "Ooh, thank you, Wilbur," said Winnie, pulling it on. "That's as cozy as a bug in a rug in a snug hug, that is." Then Wilbur plucked Squawk, a quill from a chicken, and he wrote a big sign that said, "See the rare Winnie beast. Please do feed the animal." "Meow," he said to make the Winnie beast stand behind the sign. And suddenly people walking past with their picnics stopped and stared. Then they held out cakes and sandwiches and drinks for the Winnie beast to eat. Yum, said the strange Winnie beast, and she passed some of the food on to the cat that seemed to live on the garden farm with her. All afternoon Winnie and Wilbur scoffed buns and baguettes and pies and pasties. By the time the sun was sinking in the sky, Winnie and Wilbur were as full as a bull in a china shop who likes eating china. "Cock-a-doodle-moo," called Winnie appreciatively to the last person to give her a bit of picnic. As it got dark, the picnickers headed home, and so did Winnie and Wilbur. The house was nicely aired now. "And do you know what, Wilbur?" said Winnie. "I'm actually glad there's no food in the house because I know that I won't be hungry again for at least a week." The onesie was nicely loose on a fat tummy, and Winnie didn't even need to change into her nightie for bed. And Wilbur found that the